Hey guys, what is up? This is Ewadko Garden and welcome to my channel. If you are new to my channel, please make sure that you do subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any single video that we do post on our channel. So now, in this video, we are going to answer a question paper that is 2017 Biology Paper 2. Now, what is going to happen that this week, actually onward, we'll be solving most of the questions in different subjects of past papers, okay? Because very soon the grade 12s will start actually, writing, you will start writing your final exams. Okay, so now, specifically, what is this question all about? Now, this question is about genetics, okay? And I believe and I understand that the majority of us, we do know about what genetics is all about. Okay, and I did a brief introduction and I actually laid out a foundation in terms of introduction. Okay, but basically in this video, we are just going to see how questions under genetics actually can be phrased out, or actually how questions are asked when it comes to genetics as a topic. Okay, so now let's now jump into that without wasting much of our time. Let's now see what the question is all about, okay? So, the question is all about blood groups, okay? You do understand that we have different kinds of groups of blood groups, okay? So, you might belong to blood group A, you might belong to blood group AB, or even O, or even just B, okay? If I'm not mistaken, okay? So, basically, we are talking about blood group A, blood group B, blood group AB, and also finally O. So you might be in any of those groups of blood. Okay. Now I want you to understand one thing, that when you're talking about blood groups, okay, it's different when you're actually talking about inheritance of, let's say for example, genetic disease, like for example, color blindness, hemophilia, and albinism and other genetic diseases. Okay, now in this video we are just talking about blood groups. Of course, even these blood groups, they are inherited when two couple, the husband and the wife, are having sex, and of course once the child is born, these blood groups, they are going to come from different parents, okay? The female parent and the male parent. Then when they come together, they're actually going to produce a child who is going to actually have the combination of blood groups from these two parents, okay? So now, without much further ado, this question was actually, it came from, section A, and it carried 8 marks, okay? 8 marks, okay? That we should actually understand. Now, the question is as follows. I'm sure each one of you can actually read on my board right here. We can be able to understand that, okay? Now, I want you to understand that one of the most important things under genetics is to understand some of the terms that are used in genetics, okay? Because if we do not understand the terms that are used under genetics, it becomes very difficult for you to actually get the question right, okay? But nevertheless, okay, this question is not actually about the terms or whatsoever you may think of, but I just read out the question now, okay? So the question is kind of a statement, so we need to pay much attention to grasp what is in that statement. Okay, so now we have Mrs. Mumba delivered a baby girl in a certain hospital. Mrs. Mumba has blood group O, okay, and the father to the girl has blood group AB. Mrs. Mumba sues, okay, she sues the hospital for giving her a wrong baby, whose blood group was O. Now the question says, explain using a genetic diagram why Mrs. Mumba would win or lose this, or rather lose the case. Then lastly, you are saying what could have been the correct genotype of the actual father. Okay, so if you even have the answer, because question B wouldn't actually exist if question A was correct. So this is kind of a setup by the examiner's mind. So you need to be very smart and very critical in grasping and just understanding the concept of genetics. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because we are giving you something that is very, informative, okay? Something that is going to actually help you understand, not just academic, but also in the real life scenarios or situations, things like that. So, we're going to actually start answering the question. So, if you have the paper, get the piece of paper, pencil, pen, and let's work it out together. Okay, so we're gonna actually go dive into the solution part. So now, hope and you have gotten a pen and also a pencil. So one of the most important things to understand is that you have to get the concept that I'm going to give you, and this concept is something that's gonna make you understand and pass biology. Okay, you don't have to memorize what is going to be put on the board, but the key fundamental thing is to really understand what is it that we are doing and how are we answering it. Now, if you can have such a skill of understanding, then that's going to actually blow up your mind, because any question that's going to come up, okay, you'll be able to answer the question. Okay, so now, as you said, the first and foremost important thing that you have to understand in solving genetics question is that there must be something that a genetical diagram. Okay, that's something that we'll be able to do the crossing. The sperm cell gets into the egg, things like that. Okay, so now you have to say you have the parents, huh? You have the parents, for example. Now, once you have the parents, okay, this parent is a male, and let's say male and female, okay? Okay. So we have this is a male and female, okay? So if you want, you can say mother and also father, but let's just keep it so simple, because that's general. Everyone can be able to understand what we're talking about. Okay, so now without much further ado, let's now talk about the phenotype. So the phenotype, in terms of the phenotypes, is now what we are doing in terms of our blood groups, okay, in terms of blood groups. So, like I mentioned, there's a blood group A, B, and also blood group AB, and also O. So now the phenotype are now what we are able to observe, okay, externally, okay, or rather the observable characteristics, okay, and that's what you need to understand. So the male is the father, and then the female is the mother. Okay, so we have been told that the male is okay, blood group AB and B, and then this one is blood group O. Okay. So now, after we do that, so the phenotype, these are observable characteristics, okay? So the observable characteristics of organisms or individuals, when you look at someone, okay, you'll be able to see, okay, they are light in complexion, they are maybe he or she is a white person, because you're able to see in terms of our skin color, okay? And that's what we mean by phenotypes, okay? Make sure you do understand that, okay? And then we are now going to have the genotype. Okay, so the blood group, okay, can be expressed like this one, okay. We have this one, okay. So we are now expressing in terms of the genotype, okay. Okay. Then this one is just going to be okay. So now for some of us who have actually not understood how we do express some of the, the alleles or the genes that represent blood groups, okay? That's how we do it. We use capital letter I, and then the actual blood group, we put it more like as powers, as if you can think of in terms of mathematics, okay? So the next important thing that you have to understand is as you are writing those terms or words, okay, we have to be able to identify or rather define them. Okay, so what are genotypes, or what is a genotype? So a genotype is now the specific makeup or the genetic makeup of an organism or an individual. Okay, because when you look at someone who is a light in complexion, someone who is a colored person, someone who is a white person, so we are trying to look at the genes that makes up that kind of a color scheme, okay? And in this case, we are looking at someone who is in blood group AB. What are some of the genetic makeup of someone who is in blood group AB? And also, as well as someone who is in blood group O. Now, one of the most important things that I must tell you is that when you're looking at blood group O, you have to understand that blood group O is hypothetically something that exists as a recessive gene, okay? Meaning you have to write in small letters, okay, to represent that it is not dominant over blood group A, blood group B, or AB. And therefore, blood group is also called the universal donor. Okay, so blood group O can be donated to any of the blood groups. Okay, so blood group O is a universal donor. Okay, so if you're in blood group O, you might be donating blood to any of the people or individuals that are in blood group O, I mean A and also B. Okay, except AB. Now, the other disadvantage of being in blood group O is that blood group O doesn't have some what we call antigens, okay? It doesn't have the antigens, so it becomes too porous to receive, to be attacked by pathogens or bacteria or viruses or any foreign bacteria or organism that might enter into our circulatory system, okay? So you become too vulnerable to actually be attacked by any kind of a disease, okay, that can come upon you. So, and the good part on the other side is that you can give blood to people that are in need of a blood or they have insufficient blood in their system. Okay, now let us move on. Okay, so after we do that now, what's going to happen is what is now called meiosis, or should we say now segregation, okay? Something like that, okay? So what's going to happen now is we have meiosis or segregation that's going to happen now. Each of the individual gene is going to actually be separated a little bit, okay, from each other in readiness for the closing of the other part of the cell, okay. So now we are going to separate these guys, okay. Okay, I'm just going to separate them. So now, once we do that, we can now start crossing over, okay? So this is going to be, this is going to match with that, then going to have that. So A and O, you're going to have that. And then this one can go with that one. And then we are going to have, okay. And then now, this one can go with this one. And then now finally, this one with that one. Then you're going to have, okay. So now what we have actually obtained, this part is what we call the genotypes. Should I say blood groups, okay? Blood groups. Okay, so blood groups of that. Okay. So now, as you can see now, what has happened is that we have now the result. We have determined now the result. Okay. So we have now the result, the blood groups of our children, or you can call it the genotypes, okay, of the children. Okay, so the genotypes of the children. And then you can also say that, say, phenotypes of, so phenotypes of children, okay. So meaning, when someone has this kind of a combination of blood A, O, so they are just in group A, okay? Because A is actually recessive over A. I mean, blood group A is dominant over blood group O. So we just kind of say you're in blood group O, though you have the combination, you're in blood group A, though you have the combination of blood group O, okay? And then, remember what I said is that blood group O is always recessive, and it's always a universal donor, okay? It's donated to any kind of a blood group except for AB, and it's very porous to disease, meaning most of the people that are in this kind of a blood group, they are actually attacked with, simple disease or pathogen, bacteria, viruses that gets into the system. We are attacked so badly. Okay. Okay. So when you have blood group A, B and O, so this person is just in blood group B because O is recessive. And then this one is just in blood group B, and this one just now. Now, so when you look at the question for Mrs. Mumba, you discover that Mrs. Mumba was claiming that the hospital actually gave her a wrong baby. Now, here's the thing. The baby, okay, the baby was in blood group O. So the baby was in blood group O. Now, if Mrs. Mumba claimed that her baby, okay, was a wrong baby, then you have to check the results, okay? The results are indicating that none of the children, the possibilities of them, the Mrs. Mumba and also the father or the husband, okay, the combination could not actually produce a child who is in blood group O, which means that the proposition of Mrs. Mumba is actually wrong, and therefore she lost the case because the baby was in blood group O and none of these genotypes gives us O, despite the combination, because remember, as I said, that O is recessive. So there is no way something is recessive and can come out as blood group O. Okay, so make sure you do understand that concept. Okay, now the last question is what could have been the correct genotype of the actual father? So here's the question, is that if we had actually one of the genotypes, one of the blood groups we have right here was actually, one of them came as O, then what could have been the combination of the blood group of the father? Okay, so this simply means that we have to go back and check out the combination of blood group for the father. So the father could be in blood group AO, because I said that O can be received by anything. Okay, so we can kind of have two possibilities. Okay, so you can have A, O. Okay, so which simply means that if you follow this one, okay, and then when you do this, we are going to have O. Okay, and then if this one goes there, we are also going to have O. And then this thing, okay, would have actually given us O. And also this thing would have actually given us O. So the actual blood group of the father should have been blood group M. So this is the answer. So you can either pick this one or this one. And then on the last part is that Mrs. Mumba lost the case. Okay, so thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure you do subscribe to my channel for more information like this one. Okay, share to your family, relatives, and also friends, more especially your children who are in grade 12 and those that are going to write next year. So make sure that, because our main idea of this channel is to help you, give you fundamentals, concept of the subject, of the topic, okay, so that despite the phrasing of the question, okay, because of the concept that we'll be giving you, you will still be able to unlock, okay, the difficulties in the questions and be able to see what exact kind of the answer the examiners are looking for. So it's bye-bye. My name is Brother Mike, and this is Radco Academy, and this is welcome to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.